How about now? Is my mic working now? There we go. Oh, I spent 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes talking for no reason. I've got to check this more often. I am so sorry. Let's go back. Welcome to the first episode of Veteran Bullshit. And a guy who still can't work his damn OBS. So, here's what we're doing. We are going to be talking about some things that are veteran related. Good news, bad news. Hopefully we get people in the chat and we can start talking. I hope to be able to do live videos, Skype or whatever, so we can get people in here to talk and discuss things and make it evolve to have a real show where it's not just me sitting here reading shit and talking out of my ass for 30 minutes to an hour. Now, all right, so our number one problem, and we've been saying this for decades, the VA is broken. Here's your headline right there. Okay. VA has a broken culture regarding patient safety, says a watchdog. Well, had anybody been listening to us vets for many, many, many years, this is not news to us. This is something that has been going on for a very long time. And I'm not going to point fingers directly as a culture, if you will, but there are just not enough people that work for the VA that are really looking out for us vets. The majority of them are there for a paycheck, and that really comes across, when you speak to somebody about getting things done, no matter how polite you are, you always get that little, hey, here you go, thank you. Just want to reach across the table and just smack the shit out of them. But we don't do that because, besides that being illegal, we have honor, and we do respect people, even if they're assholes to us. But that doesn't mean we can't be assholes back, which a lot of us are. I mean, if you notice that, any of my other videos, you'll find out that, I freely admit I'm an asshole. I've got my moments. So the biggest question is about this is not just what the watchdog said, okay? And, it just comes across that there are many, many things that need to be dealt with. And we don't have that many people really looking into how to change it. Hey, Poison, Toxic, thanks for the host. I appreciate it. Really great to see you all tonight. Hope you're having fun playing Call of Duty. So, where do these reforms come in? What are they going to do? Well, here's something stupid. The VA is implementing new artificial intelligence strategy to improve veteran care. Let me say that again. We have... Oh, you're playing Plunder? Oh, you suck. Maybe when I'm done with this, I'll hop on and we can team up and go take care of some business. But, I mean... Why do we have to have artificial intelligence when normal intelligence, wait for the punchline, I'm sure, when normal intelligence would take care of the problem? Because normal intelligence is failing the system and it's failing us. Okay. There's an article that's out right now about homeless veterans in LA now being able to go and live on the campus at one of the VA hospitals. Why did it take so long? Veteran homelessness has been a massive problem in LA. We know it's a massive problem in every major city in the United States. But here we are, the end of 2021, and finally one VA facility is saying, come camp here where you're safer. Come again? This is the problem. This goes back to this culture, okay? This comes back to this. It's a broken culture. No, it's a broken fucking system. And this broken system is costing people's lives. Okay? Groups I'm on in Facebook, how many times I've seen somebody reach out, "Hi, thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget you can hop in the chat and we can talk." And I forgot. Let me go hop into my there we go. Hop in on my Discord here. Let's push this out. So if you want to join me in Discord, we can talk. Want to be able to, how do we change this? How do we really get out there and make these changes? Well, there's a lot of, nonprofit organizations that are out there that are trying to help, and they're doing their best. But how do we as individuals choose who to give money to that will the most of that go to helping veterans versus people's paychecks? If you look at, you can pull up the financials of any nonprofit organization that's been around for a while, more than a year or so, and it should tell you how much money is going to the programs, how much money is going to the staff and leadership of the organization. So that if every dollar you offer them, you donate to them, 95 cents of it's going to the programs and 5 cents goes to, staffing or whatever necessities are needed to keep the programs up and running. There is some money that has to be retained by the organization so that they can have internet service and take care of things that need to be done, pay for the phone bill and all this other stuff. Well, I understand that, but some of them, and I'm not going to name any, that, 20% of that dollar, 20 cents out of that dollar is going to pay for the chairman of the board, things like that. These are things you want to look out for. You always want to be able to, try and keep on top of that and make sure that there aren't any changes over time. Your money's not going to be wasted, but you have to do your due diligence to make sure that these things happen. Back to the VA. Now, what we can do about some of these things, and people don't want to do this. It's the age of electronics. Find out who your congressmen are, your senators, your local, your state, your federals, and push them to create programs. Okay. There are states that have great veteran programs. Okay. Florida, Texas, Wyoming, there's a lot of them. But there are some that their veteran programs are almost non-existent. Okay. Oklahoma, I'm talking to you. You need to get out there and push. You can lobby, you can talk to them, you can email them relentlessly. Okay. Don't be an asshole about it. And don't just say, we've got a problem. Come up with answers. Okay. Hey, there's an issue I see of these veterans not getting the proper mental health responses that they should be getting. How do we solve that? Give some suggestions. Okay. Set up a fund to bring in outside, psychiatrists, psychologists to be able to help these individuals. Okay. Make sure that it's not something that is going to be throwing, money away, because that's just not going to work. You'll never get anything done that way. You can get, you can help people, get them into the VFWs, what's the other one? You got VFW, you got American Legion, Disabled American Veterans. There's a lot of organizations out there. Help them get to those. Get to those organizations and point out, hey, this is what's going on here in my realm of the world. How do we, I want to help fix this. These are my ideas. What are your thoughts? How can you help me make this happen? Or how can I help you make this happen? It's going to take some time. Unfortunately, nobody listens to us until we start pushing. There are millions of veterans out here in the world, in the United States, that Every one of us has had a bad time in, excuse me, in the world of the VA. You know, it takes forever sometimes to get benefits started or to you get your disability ratings and things. It takes years sometimes. And God forbid you get worse and you have to have them reevaluate you. Let me tell you, it's not fun. Been there, done that. So we know they've got a broken culture. All right. And now they're going to bring in artificial intelligence because apparently the people they're hiring for the VA are not intelligent enough to identify the problems and rectify them. Because they don't want to hear from us. They don't want to hear from the veterans who are going there and telling them, we got problems. This doctor's worthless. This nurse is an asshole. Okay? I'm not being heard. You can go to the patient advocate all day long, but they'll never do, they'll help you as best they can, but they're not going to come up with anything on the backside to rectify the situation. All right? There are doctors that have had dozens of complaints about them walking into a room, looking at you going, you're fine, get out. All right? I've got serious lower back and leg problems. At one point in time, it got so bad, I could barely walk. I went to my provider. We won't name names or locations, Orlando. And looked at my doctor, and I'm hunched over, holding myself up, with the wall. And them looking at me going, we don't see a problem here. All right, doc, I'm in fucking tears, in pain. I can't stand up. I need something so I can help be mobile. I had to look at him. Can I have a freaking cane? Well, he finally gave me one. Pardon me. Oh my goodness. Let me get the tissues here. I am so sorry about that. I had to argue with the man to get a cane. It took another 8.5 months to get a walker so I could get around my house. I was so bad. Okay? That's unacceptable. Oh, and yes, I fired that doctor that day. As soon as I got what I needed, I fired him and found a new one. This is just unheard of. I mean, you're supposed to be here to help and care. That's your job. You got a veteran that's in so much pain he can barely walk. He's fucking crying. And you're looking at him going, I can't help you. That's beyond me. I can't grasp this. I really honestly cannot comprehend how someone in a medical profession, someone who is sworn to do no harm, yada, 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 can look at a patient knowing they're in physical pain and say, I can't help you. Now, let's keep in mind, I didn't ask for medications. I didn't ask to go to the pain clinic. I didn't ask for narcotics. I didn't even ask for fucking Motrin. I asked for help. Help me so I can get around better. What did I get? I can't help you. Does not compute. Now, granted, I'm off. I've never met a veteran that was mentally stable. Okay, we're all fucked up in our own little ways. But Jesus Christ, really, people? That's my story. That's one of many, many I have. I spend more time, I've got private insurance. I use that more than I do going to the VA. These glasses, I went on my own insurance to get my eyes checked. Because when I called the VA, I just relocated to Texas. I called the VA, last month, and said, I need to get in and get my eyes checked. They're like, okay, well, we have availability end of January. October, November, December, June. That's a 4-month backlog. 4 months, people. I was seen the next day on the civilian side. Had my order for new glasses that night going in the system. Yes, I had to come out of pocket for them. I'm not going to tell you who I got them from, but let's just say there are online retailers that are substantially less expensive than those other stores that are out there. But I finally got a call and got scheduled for an outside doctor of optometry to see me, and I went there today. My eyes are still a little fuzzy and fucked up, but now I have more answers than I had before, because they actually checked things that this outside doc didn't do. Eyes are still fucked up. I don't have 20/20 unless it's corrected, but we're good. But this is the problem. There's not enough stuff. There's not enough providers. There's not enough people who care enough to do what needs to be done. Okay? And the VA is throwing money hand over fist to build new facilities and things that come in way over cost and years past the completion date. And when I say way over cost, I'm talking tens of millions of dollars over cost. Okay? And then find out once they're done, those facilities are not adequate. Because somebody thought it would be a good idea to spend $500,000 or $1 million to make it look cool. I don't need it to look cool. I need it to be functional. I need to be able to get in and get what I need and get the hell out. I don't care if it's got a big old swoop on the roof or, it's got some really nice paintings inside. That don't mean shit to me. How about some better food in the commissary? How about that? Let's go start there. How about making sure that, we're safe when we're inside? All right. How about, I don't know. Finding people that actually give a shit and they're not towards the end of their career in the medical profession that want to up their retirement. How about that? How about we find those people and get rid of them? That works for me. So, I'm getting off track again. I'm good at running my mouth if you haven't figured it out. Now, again, let's go back to this one. This is what sent me off on my little rant. Surprise. They're putting an artificial intelligence strategy in the works to improve care. Okay? It's supposed to serve as an ethical guideline for the use of AI technology? Are you serious? How about teaching human beings that are in the medical field to be, wait for it, compassionate, understanding. Listen to the person that is speaking to you, because we know our bodies better than you do. We were born in them. It's pretty freaking simple, people. It really, really is. Listen. That's all you got to do. Person's telling you they're in pain. Something's not right. Okay, I'm having these thoughts. I'm having trouble doing this, or I'm having trouble doing that. Well, how about helping them? That's what you're there for. I hated moving to Texas for one reason. I lost a really good psychiatrist. I've been with Dr. Lee for years, almost 10 years. Great guy, really understanding, would always listen, always engaging. If I had problems, he'd, be right there for me. I don't really have that here just yet, but what am I supposed to do? I have not met my physician in person yet. I've got all my medications. They were happy to fill all those up, but no, I've not had a face-to-face with anybody. No, I take that back. I have had a face-to-face now that I think about it. I apologize. But again, it was them sitting on the other side of a desk asking me questions. It was kind of like an intake. Why don't you look at my file? Why don't you read my file? They admitted they never read my fucking file. What good does that do? I'm not a new patient off the street. I've been being seen for a decade. Read my fucking file. My psychiatrist was helping me treat my pain. Think about that. My psychiatrist was helping with my pain management. I got here. They wanted me to modify my dose and how I take it. Well, guess what happened? Not only did it fuck me up in the head even worse, but it also, wait for it, caused me to have more pain. So, guess who said fuck you and went and did what they were doing before? This asshole. They don't want to care. They don't. They may want to care. They really do. I'm not going to say that. I take that back. They may want to care, but they don't. They've forgotten how to listen. Okay? They have forgotten to comprehend what is being said to them. Okay? And that's a problem. And this AI initiative is going to be... How can I say this? Waste of money and time, because you still have the same problem. The human beings that are in the system. So what am I supposed to do? I've got to suck the egg and keep going. Okay? Not fun, but it is what it is. So let's go to some bad news. How about this one, folks? Army veteran sentenced for Southern California bomb plot. Now, apparently, this younger man of 28, I'm not going to say his name, was convicted in August of providing material support of terrorism and attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction. He schemed to bomb an April 2019 rally in Long Beach before he was arrested. So he's been incarcerated for a while now. Now, if you remember, as it says here, you go back, it was in retaliation of 2 New Zealand mosques that left 50 people dead. Now, this young man converted to Islam, which I have absolutely nothing against. Okay? Here's the problem. He converted to Islam to become violent. This young man had some tendencies and things that led to his departure from military service. Now, we go down here. He served 16 months in the Army, 4 months of stint in Afghanistan in 2012. Can you imagine what you had to have done to be demoted and discharged and sent out of the country? Okay. You imagine what that was. So I'm going to go, hopefully that was a dishonorable discharge, but they're not saying it. I would love to know exactly what it was that he had done to get busted down to private and booted out of the military. Uh-oh. We have a child abduction alert here in Texas. 14-year-old black female. Uh-oh, not good. So he's not the only one. Now, not pointing out Islam because we get some morons of other religions. I'm pointing it out because they brought it up in the story. Okay, but we've seen this story before, if we paid attention at all, that there are people who convert. Well, when they convert, they get into something that helps them feel whole. Okay, so whatever he had been doing before, whatever, if he was religious or not, I don't know, it doesn't say. He found a group that helped him feel whole. Okay, helped him become what he ended up becoming. They fed that. And that's what they feed on. So I'm not going to get into, background of terrorism and everything, but this is really scary. All right. This young person was booted out of the military for something that he had done, more than likely. I'm not going to say military is perfect, but, shit happens. He took that hatred and went somewhere else, and that hatred festered. And when hatred festers, it really gets into something beyond ugly. And we end up having things like this happen. Luckily, he was stopped before he could harm anybody. Chances are he wasn't able to reach out. He wasn't able to use the VA or anybody, most places weren't going to talk to him, or he was going to handle it himself. Guilty. I'll take care of this. I can get through this bullshit. He found somebody that said the right words at the right time, and it brought him to a different place that he may not have ever thought of going. So hopefully he's not going to be out of prison for a long time to come. Now, good news. Mississippi Marine veteran posthumously awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's really sad that we have to do this, okay? We have to wait until after somebody passes away because of the way things were done in the past. These men, at a time in our country, were looked down upon. They were treated as less than human, especially in places like Mississippi and those areas around, the southern end of the southern states. But these men still signed up. They took the chance of risking their lives to stop somebody and a machine that was so horrific that they would do this for a country, half a country, part of a country, treated them so poorly. Yet they still did this. And they fought with honor. They fought with tenacity. I would be beyond honored to have met any of these men. And the women that volunteered, weren't waited to be called on, but volunteered to stand up and be counted against, tyranny, against socialism, Marxism. They went to a foreign land and fought an enemy that at the time had no ability to really directly attack us. Yes, I know. U-boat off Jacksonville, Florida. I know. But what do you do about these men and the women who were put in situations and went above and beyond? Now you're talking, this is going back 70 plus years, 75 years. Okay. He enlisted. He enlisted. He wasn't drafted. The man enlisted. All right, in 1943. Discharged in 1946 after the war. The man passed away in 1983 at the age of 58. Here we are, 2021, and we are going to recognize him for what he did in a war that happened so long ago. Why is it taking so long for these to be recognized? Where is the disconnect? All right. These are people that should have been honored 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. But in a lot of cases, it was because of the color of their skin. We have moved on. We've moved past a lot of this. I will grant you that. There are still individuals and small groups. They're not insignificant, but that's what they are. They're small. They're small-minded, and you cannot survive in this world if your mind is closed to the realities of a human being, no matter what their skin tone is. Okay? So they've got a better tan than I have. Congratulations. All right? I don't care. I have I have sweat, blood, tears right next to the people of every race not race, everybody's fucking human, but every, color, religious background. I don't care. When this shit hits the fan, who's on my right, who's on my left? That's who I care about. What are they there for? Do they have my back like I have theirs? Yes, they did. And I'll still have it today. I'll have their backs to this day if I have to do it. Okay? That's what a lot of people don't comprehend about the military. A lot of times you find out that your perceptions are wrong. You got to have some of an open mind. You got to treat people equally. Doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, or what they've done. Obviously, if they're a convicted felon, they're not going to be in the military, so you don't have to worry about that. So, finally, it's been presented to the family members, and hopefully we have more to give out soon would be appropriate. Okay, what else do we have here? I don't know what this one was. Oh, that shouldn't have been there. Go away. Okay. Here's something that's bullshit. Donations mount after homeless veteran's dog died. Police in North Carolina arrested him for begging. Homeless veteran. Oh, got somebody new in the channel. Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. Don't forget you can hop on chat or join the Discord and we can talk. I don't comprehend how this could be occurring. Okay. So the man was trying to feed himself, drug himself, drink himself to oblivion, whatever it was. He was, hawking for money. Well, apparently the officers tased the dog. Dog was just trying to protect her human, or his human. Dog took off, found dead later, hit by a car. Well, Army veteran, former Kentucky National Guardsman, was arrested at the scene and charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of resisting an officer, a misdemeanor count of begging for money, and solicit from highway infraction, whatever the fuck that is. Okay. Here's resisting. You need to move along. I need to stay here to find food. That's resisting. Well, there's no resisting with violence. It was just resisting. And it's a misdemeanor. Why is it 2 counts? Probably because there were 2 officers, 1 for each officer. Or he said no twice. And then he yelled at him for tasing the dog. And then a misdemeanor count of begging for money and solicit from a highway infraction. Man's homeless. Seriously. You expect them not to beg? The fuck is your problem? We'll give you the right to tase the dog. And for those counts, have a look. You can read it for yourself. It's right there. I got to switch the camera around. He was freed the next afternoon on $3,000 bail. The man had no money. He had friends posted his bail. GoFundMe's raised $13,000. All right. This had to happen to a veteran who went downrange into a fucking war zone. This is beyond me. Where is the compassion? Where's the community policing? You know, where's, you know, I'll try and research it if I can remember to do so. What happened to these officers that did this? The judge needs to throw this out immediately. Such is my opinion. If you're in the North Carolina area, I guess Gastonia, wherever that is, I don't know, haven't looked it up. I've driven through there a few times, not there, but through North Carolina a few times. Get out there, let your voice be heard. Let there be justice for this one. And for God's sake, somebody find him a new dog. You better not charge him for it either. Oh, look at this. Let's go farther in here. And what a citizen called and complained about a man using a dog to get money. What? Hey, what is he threatening the dog? Give me money or I kill the dog? No. That's probably the best thing he had to a service animal. I've got 3. All right. Okay, only one's in here with me right now. But I've got 3 dogs. And trust me, when I start really going down and I've got heads on my lap, all right, I know something's going south and I need to disconnect from whatever it is I'm doing. So not trained, but they still know, and they're right there with me. So I'm going to bet money, and I'm not a gambling man, but I say it a lot. I would actually bet money that that's what this dog was to him. It was his best friend, okay? Unconditional. You get unconditional love from animals. Okay, once trust is earned in everything, you literally cannot find a love like that ever, other than children. Okay, unconditional. No matter what happens, you will love them. Doesn't mean you don't call the cops on them when they do something stupid, but it's unconditional. There needs to be some ramifications for these officers or officer that did this, okay? There is no reason for this to have happened. It just really, really irritates me that these officers or officer should have done the way, done this the way they did. You got to take into account the situation of where these people are in life. All right. Just, for God's sakes, be fucking human. Understand. Oh, look, we had a veteran symposium shining a spotlight on concerns such as mental health and substance abuse. Ooh, really? Jonestown, Pennsylvania. Many veterans deal with a myriad of problems, including substance abuse, mental health challenges, and run ins with the law. I wonder why. That can be traced back to their days in the military. Wow, really? So, the Veteran Community Initiative holds Veterans Issue Symposium to bring together organizations that assist former service personnel so they can share ideas. Ideas are great. What are you going to fucking do? Okay? You can sit in a symposium, you can sit in a meeting, you can come up with ideas. How do you execute those ideas? All right? How do you get that veteran who's homeless and addicted to drugs back on their feet? Okay? How do you get them to the mental health counseling they need? Because those drugs, the alcohol, the heroin, whatever it is being used to hide or mask what is going on in their brains. Okay? And I don't know exactly what they're going through when these things happen, when these occurrences go on. They've seen things that they should have never had to see. But how do we get them to understand that that's one of the fastest ways to die? But to get them to come out of that and get them to talk and understand that they're not alone, number one. Number two, that there is help available. How do we get them to those locations? How do we reach out to them? There are organizations that do this. The DV Farm is one of them. Great program. I'd like to be able to, get this channel up to a point where it's making money that I can donate to them. We'll see how it all pans out in the long run. But as it stands for right now, these outreach community engagements need to, I think, be more widespread. We need to have more places that can bring these veterans in and help them get through this, get back on their feet, teach them life skills, get them off the drugs, get them off the alcohol, and understand that what they went through wasn't right, but it's not going to stay there the whole time if you deal with it. And that's the hardest part, is having to face it. I know. Been there, done that. Still have problems. I'm not fine. I was talking to someone very dear to me recently, and I confess that when we met a decade or so ago, I am no longer that same person. I am not the same man I was when we first met. I'm not the same man that I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same man I was 5 years ago. But I'm still working on it. I'm working on being who I am and doing what I'm doing. Okay? So, how do we get these people, these brothers and sisters, to understand there is help, but you have to do the hardest thing possible? Okay? It's not the hardest thing possible. It's really not. And that's what they have to understand. You need to, the hardest thing to understand is that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was, I state your name, do solemnly swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's the hard part. Because at that moment, when you sign on the line, you're giving up your freedoms, you're giving up your life in some instances to protect the Constitution of the United States. Okay? That's the hard part. Have they seen things that will haunt them for the rest of their lives? Answer, yes. Hi, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you being here. You can always hop on the chat, or you can stop in Discord. We can have a nice little conversation live. Give me some suggestions, ideas, how, your input on any of these topics that I'm going over are welcome, and I would appreciate it. Um, but back to how do we can address this all day long in meetings and online and stream and all this other good shit. But the question really does come down to how do we get them the help? How do we convince them to take that step? That's the hardest part. And I don't know how to do that. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I've been through a lot of that shit, still going through a lot of those programs. But how do we reach out to them on the streets, under the bridges, in boxes and tents to get them the help that they need? Because at some level, we are failing them as brothers and sisters. We are not reaching out like we should, I think, to some extent. Not all the blame belongs to us by any means, all right? But I think if we can do things, be it volunteering, be it giving money, donations, and things like that, probably a good way to start to get this to change the climate of, the way things are. I don't have a problem doing things that the VA won't do. Okay? I don't have a problem cutting through bureaucracy because it's a load of bullshit. All right? We all have to make our own individual choices, and we'll do what we do however we do it. So, but we'll see how this all plays out. We really need to start stepping up as a group. No, we're not playing that game. Go away. We are all veterans. We are all people who have signed up to do the unthinkable or lose our lives in the process. So how do we step up and push it forward, pay it forward to bring those that fell through the cracks back into the fold? That's what we've got to come up with. So I'm not downplaying any of these organizations. Understand? Not downplaying them. They do a lot of good. But can they be doing more? More than likely. But the question also becomes, how do they do it? And I guarantee you, besides money, the number two thing is always manpower. So if you have the ability, look them up and see what you can do. All right. Let's see. What else do I have here? I think my story got taken away here. Yeah, would like to have been there for that. We'll see. Okay. Stupid press releases. Oh, okay. Here, let's open this up and have a look. So, apparently, they're looking at the veterans who, under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, were discharged from the military. The question is how were they discharged? I don't think it was a dishonorable, but more like a general under honorable conditions. If it's a general discharge, I think 180 days, and you can reach out and say, oh, got more people in here. Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. These people are veterans. It doesn't matter what they do behind closed doors. That's their business. Did they sign up to protect and defend the Constitution? Yes, they did. Should we hold that against them? No. Why? Because they're human beings. All right. They don't fit your narrative of what, is supposed to be. Whose problem is that? Is that mine or is that yours? I don't care. Because when I'm in the military, when I was in the Army, you know what I cared about? The person to my left, the person to my right. If we're in a firefight, can I count on them? Are they going to be there for me when the shit hits the fan and bullets start flying? If the answer is yes, I don't care what you fucking do. As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral. Legal, ethical, moral. Okay? My moral compass does not point north. I freely admit this. But let me tell you, people, that was bullshit. It's still bullshit. And if these veterans are not getting their benefits, still to this day, don't tell has been gone for a long fucking time. That should be changed. Should have been done a long time ago. Why are we still talking about it? Give them their fucking benefits and move on. Why do we have to have a law? Mijo, I don't know. All right. First off, I will always have faith in the Constitution. All right. And it applies to everybody in this country that is a citizen of the United States or wanting to become a citizen of the United States. I still think it is one of the best documents written by mankind, and the reason I say that is because it makes everybody equal. All right. Now, has it been interpreted differently? Yes. Throughout the ages. Everything's been interpreted differently. It depends on who's reading it, what their background is, what their moral standards are, things of that nature. Okay? What does it really come down to? Having the freedom to do what you want, when you want, why you want. That, again, is legal, ethical, moral. Okay? Am I upset about people who are trampling on it and things like that? Yes. Okay? But I have a bully pulpit. I can talk about these things if I so desire. It is not my intention to go that route, okay? My biggest problem is the way that some of us are treated and how things are pushed around and they don't take responsibility for their actions, okay? We know they're veterans. We know they have problems. Well, we don't have enough people. Well, fucking go hire them. Go to Congress and say, hey, here's the problem. I need more money. Execute. It's not that big of a deal. Go do it. Okay? Are they underfunded? I don't know. I haven't looked at their funding. Can they do better with what they have? Oh, yes, they can. All right. But those that have been pushed off to the side, those that need our help, all right, we were inducted into a brotherhood and sisterhood, into a family when we joined the military, okay? I'm not going to get into at what point through your career do you become a veteran, because everybody's got their own ideas. But if you stood up there and you raised your right hand, you're a family to me. You're a brother or you're a sister. And if my brother or sister is in need and I can help, I'm going to be there for them. I would hope we are all the same way. Now, again, goes back to how can we do this? How can we come up and actually help these people? And I don't know if you were in the room for this at the time, but you can volunteer with some of these organizations that provide assistance to homeless and addicted veterans. You can donate money to them. Back to the beginning of this, make sure that when you're doing it, you check their financials and that the majority of your donation is actually going to go to the programs versus to running and paying people in the organization. Do your due diligence. Pretty simple, Man, if that money's going to those programs and they're actually doing good and they're helping, by all means, donate your time, donate your money. But this isn't a constitutional problem. This is a moral responsibility that the government has taken on upon itself when it created the Veterans Administration. Okay. That is something, number one, morality and the government, you don't normally say in the same sentence because, it's the government and you know what I know. Do you step outside the box and try and help? Yes. But what does it come down to when what's the word I'm looking for here? When the bureaucracy has taken over and is slowing down the process to get that assistance out, how do you fix that when you're not at the top of the food chain? All right. Your senators, your congressmen, your local and state representatives. And remember, they are representatives. They are here for us that elected them into the seats. They're there to represent us as citizens of the city, state, county, whatever. Okay. Email them, write them, do what you got to do to make get your voice heard. You can actually schedule appointments with them. You can have sit downs with them and say, hey, thanks for taking the time to hear me out on this. Here's where I see a problem, but I got a couple possible solutions. What do you think we can do with this? And see what they say. They may very well be able to help out, or find out something's hiding in the backgrounds in Congress that hasn't been made public yet. That could be, right there getting ready to get out and help. Mijo, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that exact statement, that there have been so many that have begged and pleaded for help and just not received it. And that's where these outside organizations come into play. Especially when you're dealing with any kind of a government entity, you can never take them on alone. A veteran service organization is a good way to go, or if you may need to get an attorney involved, upon filing the paperwork and things like that. So just to start getting that help. I don't know the situation, so I can't comment on how to get things done. But that's one of the reasons I'm here doing this now. Again, this is my first show trying to do this. And this is where the questions and things come in, okay? The engagements. I mean, I appreciate you talking to me here and showing, giving me your ideas and your thoughts and things. If I can get more people to come in and say, hey, I've been trying to do X for, so long and I keep getting this or I keep getting that. Okay, well, I'll start going down the list. Have you talked to these people? Have you gone to here? Have you done this? Have you done that? You'd be surprised how many people kind of go, I didn't know that was available to me. Okay, let's make this happen. All right. I will sit here on my computer and people can watch me do this. I am super good at research. You can ask anybody that knows me. You give me a topic, I will research it and get you the answers very quickly. Okay, if it exists, I'll find it. But that's what I want to do with this show, is I want to start getting people in here. I want to start interviewing people and putting it out there that, you're not alone, okay? You're living daily with PTSD or depression and anxiety, or your LBGTQP RST 3745 plus whatever, okay? Not making fun of you, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I want to be a place, a point of contact that I can help people find that information and help guide them if it's at all possible. Okay? Not a lawyer, not a medical professional. All right? Here's the numbers for Veteran Crisis Line. If you're in crisis, please call or text. All right? Don't want to talk? Text them. They will respond. They will point you in the right direction. I'm sorry he became one of the 22. I really am. And this is happening, sadly, on a daily basis. There are people that I have had contact with I did not know very well, but I've met in passing here and there, that have, out of nowhere, just decided to take their lives. And I don't make judgments. Okay, that's not what I'm put here for. Is it preventable? In a lot of cases, yes. But those cases are individual cases, and there's no such thing as one thing, no one size fits all answer to this. How do we reach out to these people? How do we get them to talk and confide? That's the issue. Where do we take this, and how far can we take it to try and save lives? Okay? Not just those that are contemplating taking their life, but for those that are slowly taking their lives through drugs, alcohol, homelessness, their feeling of self-worth. Are you okay? I don't know if you heard that thump, but that was one of my pups that shook her head and whacked her head into the wall. Zoe, are you okay, sweetie? She's acting like nothing happened. Surprise, just like a kid. Listen. Is there anywhere that you can point the blame to? No. Okay, there's a lot of moving parts in things. There are a lot of variables that come into when somebody decides to ultimately end their lives. I wish there was a magic pill to help people come to terms with what they've seen and what they've done. It doesn't exist, but a lot of what it really comes down to is them talking about it and trying to come to terms. Yeah, I've got 3 pups, and they're grown, but I still have the issue. I got one of them that has no depth perception. He's so funny. He'll walk right up and just stuff his nose in my leg and be like, "Oh, hi, you're there." But like I said, I'm trying to say is, where does this go from here? Where can we go and help? It doesn't mean that we get, we're not going to get it right every time. We're not going to be able to save everybody. It just doesn't work that way. It's an unrealistic expectation. Can we help and slow it down? Yes. But how do we do that? Well, we do it on our own way. All right. Maybe somebody comes and watches my show and I'm running my mouth and they reach out and are like, I got a question. Maybe we can help. Maybe we can't. Breaks my heart every time I hear about, it doesn't matter whether it was suicide or accident or whatever. It still breaks my heart every time I hear about one of my brothers or sisters passing away. How do we go about making the change? Because, it's a bureaucracy. You can never rely on bureaucracy to be swift in their decisions or how they do things. It doesn't work that way. That's why nonprofits have been springing up all over the place to try and offset the delays and other things like that. But a lot of it comes down to the individual and whether or not they are willing to stand up and ask for help, or even say yes when help is offered. Okay? A lot of us, me included, guilty, have to come to terms with the fact that we can't fix everything on our own. That sometimes we need that outside perspective from somebody who knows what they're doing to get us on track to where we need to be. And that's the best way I can put it. It's a very difficult thing to come to terms with. I can't fix this. And that's where a lot of the problems come in. All right, so pretty decent night. All right. Went over it a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. Be more than happy to talk to anybody else if you want to hop on chat. But if not, I think what we're going to do is we're going to close this down and call it an evening and see if we can get back on. So I plan to be back on Wednesday on my... Don't forget to follow me, please. I'm going to change the schedule because it says I'm going to be getting on at 8 Central Time. I will be getting on at 9 Central Time. I'm going to go change that as soon as I get off here. I hope to see everybody back. And yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, okay. I hope to see everybody back here in short time, and we can continue the conversations. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and thanks for being here. I appreciate you.